Everybody thinks starting OnlyFans is easy cash. Just post a few pictures and watch the cash roll in. But nobody talks about the leaks, the taxes, family members finding out, friends finding out, and the months of posting without any results and posting to absolutely no one. But before you hit that create button, there's a few things you seriously need to know about. So in today's video, that's what I'm going to go over. If you don't know who I am already, my name is Dylan. I help creators like yourself solve everyday problems within the space, while at the same time stop you from making stupid mistakes which cost you money. So the 4 categories you're going to go over today are the mental side of things, so everything that goes on in your head and the stuff you've got to watch out for. Privacy issues, it's a big thing with stuff like leaks. Financial and legal obligations you've got and stuff you've got to actually watch out for, and the actual time commitment for actually making content, because it's not just a case of posting a few pictures and you're raking in the dollar. If you were looking to make a lot of money on OnlyFans, you're going to be posting content, and this content, to be able to get fans, it's got to be seen by random people. That's how you get new subscribers, and that's the harsh reality of being online. Is where else are you going to make your money from if you're not in front of random strangers? So you're going to be posting online, and no matter what you do, who you are, what you post, whether you're good looking, not good looking, you're always going to have hate comments. And people think they're prepared for it, but it can take a massive toll on you. You've got to be able to develop thick skin to be able to survive in the space. That is a big thing on the mental side of things, is actually be able to cope with the hate. A big thing on the mental side is also people in your family and friends, the people who actually mean the most to you, finding out what's their reaction going to be to it. Are you going to be able to cope with rejection from your family? Because unfortunately, it's the way things work, and I've seen it countless times where families have actually broke up over it. You've just got to be mentally prepared that you're willing to do that. Unfortunately, it's still frowned upon, and it's just the way society is, but you've got to prepare yourself, because that will and can happen. It's not a definite, but it can happen. Another big thing is your biggest subscribers moving along. You cannot keep subscribers forever. And there's things you could do with relationship building to keep people there. You cannot be heartbroken if your biggest spender goes to someone else. There's such a massive field of creators now that there's so many different places from people to pick from. So you've got to be mentally prepared to lose people who will send you a lot of money. Mental side of things is going to cover pretty much every single topic we're going to talk about, because the biggest thing in life is having a steady mind and being in a good headspace, because if you've got a bad headspace, your whole life is pretty much shit. So yeah, they're the core things for mental you've got to prepare yourself for, but each of these topics can give you a bad head. So the second topic we're going to talk about is actually your privacy and anonymity. So even though your content is copyrighted on OnlyFans, people still leak. There's a lot of pricks out there who like to leak content onto porn websites, and just being vicious and sending it to family members. That can happen. There's horrible people online. You've just got to be prepared for that to happen. You've also got to know the steps to take, and once that happens, you can do this thing called a DMCA, which is where you write a complaint to these websites for your copyrighted content to be taken down. There's apps and websites and services for this. You've obviously got to pay for them, or you could go do it yourself, which is a little bit more complicated. But you can take the leaks down, but just be prepared to face stuff like that. You've also got to put into account that you were doing a form of sex work, so your identity in your name is going to be in the space. You can do stuff like a stage name just to keep yourself more private. You've got to be careful, because there is a lot of weirdos out there, and you've got to protect your own personal worth and your own privacy. The only downside with using a stage name is not being able to get Meta verified, which is, it's good to have that blue tick next to your name, because it gives you an extra layer of safety on Instagram. But at the same time, what matters more? You've got to weigh it up and make that decision for yourself. There is a way where you can get blue tick with a stage name, and that is actually becoming celebrity. So you get a legacy blue tick, which is where you're essentially a celebrity. The way you do that is getting your name in a few news articles. You can pay people to do it, and then you can get a legacy blue tick. But yeah, apart from that, you've got to weigh up what is worth more to you. You've also got to make sure when you are filming content, that you're not revealing where you actually are. Say, for example, you're filming near your garden, make sure there's no landmarks for people to actually track you down, because like I said earlier, there's a lot of weirdos in the space who, yeah, you'd rather not have them know your location. One thing you can do to keep safe is strip your metadata from your photos and videos, just so people can't see the actual location of where this is. You don't want weirdos knowing your location at all costs. So number 3, we'll talk about financial and legal obligations you've got as a creator. So if you were living in the UK, you've got to pay tax. You were self-employed, you've got to pay tax. So some things you could do to drop your tax is buying things. Buying things which actually you can put into your content and help your content get better. Buying things isn't a bad thing. You can write off your tax with it. HMRC, obviously no one wants to pay them, but you've got to. So be prepared to pay tax and don't avoid it. You're allowed to earn 12,000, I think it's 12,500 a year tax-free until you start paying tax. Anything above that's taxed. And yeah, I don't want to give tax advice and legal advice online. My advice would be to go to an actual accountant. Get them to sort it out, because they are the professionals. Another big thing people don't realise is you might start earning money, but OnlyFans takes 20% of that. So be prepared for OnlyFans to take 20%. It's also in dollars. So if you're a UK creator, you're going to see the initial drop of it being converted from dollars to pounds. And then OnlyFans take 20% off as well. So when you see the big number, it's going to be a little bit less. So just be prepared for that. Another thing you've got to be aware of is OnlyFans isn't like a regular job. You're not on a set wage. So your wage can be inconsistent. You obviously want it to increase, but it's not always going to be like that. You've got to be prepared for the ups and downs. If I was you and you were working a job, I wouldn't initially leave it unless you've got a backup plan and a backup load of cash to survive on, just because it's not initially always going to take off. Things are a lot different from COVID times where anyone could start earning money straight away. Things are harder, but as long as you've got the work ethic, you can overcome adversity and earn a lot of money. But you've just got to put the work in. Make sure you are getting a stable source of income in first. Make sure your socials are popping and you actually know how to consistently grow on social media so it doesn't ever fuck you up. The 4th thing you need to be prepared for is your actual content and time commitment. If you were going to make a lot of money within a space, you've got to put a lot of time in, a lot of consistency. You've got to be consistent, because otherwise there's so many people competing against you. If they're working harder than you, you are simply going to be trampled over and left at the bottom of the pile. You've got to be prepared to work. It doesn't matter how good looking you are, how ugly you are. Everyone's on the same playing field. As long as you've got a good work ethic and good commitment and good consistency, you're going to do well. You just got to stick at it, look at your data, and keep going. If you're coming from a job, you're going to have a lot better understanding of what work is than if you just go from nothing straight into OnlyFans. If you can put the same hours you put into a normal job into OnlyFans, you're going to be fucking stinking rich. If you think about it, you are chatting to fans, you're making marketing, taking photos, you're always doing your makeup, you're trying to look nice. This stuff takes up a lot of time. You've got to be prepared for that. If you're going to make good content online, you've also got to make sure you've got the right equipment. You don't initially need to go and spend a fucking ton of money on equipment, but you've got to make sure your video quality is actually good. If you're filming on an iPhone, that is perfect. You don't have to get some fancy camera. You can use your iPhone. Just update the settings. The majority of people don't know you can actually do that. Go and update your settings, make the camera better. You've also got to think about the stuff you're sending to fans. If you've got low quality content, why are they going to come back and buy from you? They've seen what they want to see and it's not a good quality. They're going to go buy from someone who has got good quality stuff. The biggest message of it all is stay consistent. Consistency is rewarded. Keep going and looking at your data. You are guaranteed success, but just keep going. Do not give up. Times will get quite tough, but just keep going and you will make a lot of money, trust me. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment. If you've got any additional questions you want answered in private, you can send me a DM on Instagram. It is @DillMelish. I'll drop it down in the description as well, and you can send anything to me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But apart from that, I'll see you in the next one.